Today's show is brought to you by Hightower Brewing Company. And the thing that I like about this particular brewing company, they're located in, I believe it is Southeast Ohio. We call it Rayland. I think that's how you pronounce it. It's about 15 minutes outside of Wheeling, West Virginia. So about 45 minutes to an hour outside of Pittsburgh. But with this particular brewing company, family owned, small business, man, local brewery, family friendly, pet friendly as well. Some of the things they offer within their brewery: live music on the weekends. They always have some type of deal going on food wise as well, man. But IPAs, lagers, the thing that I enjoy the most, and Deke can attest to this as well, they have these dope seltzers as well, man. All the different fruity flavors. I think it was a grape one that I was enjoying. I think it was a blueberry one. That was the other one. It was like a sour blueberry as well, man. It's pretty dope. But the thing that I really enjoy, though, even more so with this, is that this is from a person in the chat, man, a person from this podcast family, man. Greg Whiting, reached out to me when we were at Steelers training camp and was like, yo, man, want to show some support, man. Big fan of the show. And, you know, we're able to go ahead and get this locked in, man. So we appreciate him, man. So anybody that is going over there, their website is in the description box. You purchase anything on that website, you'll get 15% off all of your purchases, along with, if you're in, you know, at the actual location, like I said, it's located in Ohio, southeastern Ohio. It's like right at the border, right by Wheeling, West Virginia. If you go in and you actually mention us while you're in there, you get 15% off of your order as well, whether you're getting drinks or food or all inclusive, man. So it's dope, and they got cool little merchandise. You see the little hat I got rocked out as well, man. So just wanted to shout those guys out, man, over at Hightower Brewing Company, man. Definitely show them some love, man. Absolutely.
Hightower Brewery supports us.
Absolutely, man.
Let's support them.
Absolutely, man.
They got this peanut butter porter too.
You better talk about it.
I'm not a big dark beer guy.
You better talk about it.
But it's pretty damn good. They also, I mean, along with the seltzers, you're right. Seltzers are obviously really good. But they have some Pittsburgh theme cans.
They do.
They got a Maz. It's a Bill Mazeroski beer. That's good as well, because they sent us a care package. Yes. I was trying them, and I was like, this hits the spot.
No, without a doubt. I know you're more the beer guy. For me, man, I was enjoying the seltzer. They had the tall. Was it 32 ounce they sent this? Yes. It makes the watching experience way better. Just throw it out there. And you don't have to get as many refills either, Deke. I know, you know, when we got them little ones out there, sometimes we got to worry about that.
True.
But no, shout out to them, though, as well, though, man.
Steve Dadick 3. It's a good guy right here. It's my cousin.
Let's go.
Number 93.
Yeah.
Lays the boom on everyone, including his own teammates.
You better talk about it.
He had a nice Lions block on the long run and almost took out our Steeler on a punt coverage.
Oh, no, that's Mark Robinson. 100%. Yes, sir. Jags game, same concept. He diving in his. I'm like, bro, you almost took out 3 people, but I'm not going to tell you not to do it. Which Coach Thomas? I'd rather say whoa than sick him. Keep sicking them, baby. Keep doing what you're doing, man. Yesterday, in fact, I was watching it, man. It was an OPI play where they tried to run a pick. It was like the receiver tried to slant in and pick him, and then from there, they were going to throw the flat route. He makes the tackle on the flat route. He absolutely destroys the receiver, though. They threw the flag on the receiver for the illegal, like, blocking, offensive pass interference. I'm like, bro, that receiver, he's got to feel sick right now. It's like, yo, you got the penalty, and you got smashed, and he still made the tackle. That's Mark Robinson, though. You cut his tape on, that's what you see. It's not always perfect, but the productivity, the effort, the consistency, it continues to jump off the screen, man.
Where you at with the Robinson starter bus?
This is my biggest ordeal with it. It just depends on what you're trying to accomplish here. If you don't have fear of, you know, the mistakes that he's going to make, then you go Mark Robinson. If you want the most consistent, the safest option, you go Robert Spillane. If you want to keep hoping and wishing that what you saw yesterday is going to be the start of something new, a turned over new leaf, then you go Devin. Huh? You just said you didn't.
I know
that, right?
Because that's again gets blown off. I can't remember if it was a tight end or receiver, but the dude runs right up the middle to Devin Bush. Wasn't it like a 3rd and 20 or something? Or
so it was 3rd and 20. It was a screen play. It was 3rd and 20. It was a draw. Devin was in coverage. Devin reacted great. I loved in terms of him backpedaling, putting the foot in the ground, reading the draw. And this is where we can say, okay, are you? And when I said earlier, when I was like, hey, depending on your expectations for Devin, will dictate or determine how you feel he played yesterday. If you've dumbed down your expectations, not in a negative way, but if you've taken it down to where you look at that play and you're like, well, he kind of got held, or hey, man, he was in the right place. He couldn't get it. Well, that's fine. Then you think he was fine. I'm accustomed to in Pittsburgh where we're saying a tight end can't block you and you never trade 1 for 1. And the answer to that equation of how do you combat that block right there, instead of being lateral like how he did, you attack it downhill. You cause the action, hat in hands, extend him, win his grass. We talk about, right? Same with the offensive line, right? When you make that contact, are you a yard ahead or are you a yard behind? He stayed lateral. So it's like when you stay lateral and now you're looking, you give that guy a chance to hold on you a little bit. Did he hold him? Absolutely, he held him a little bit. But that's because you allowed him to do it. The way you keep his hands off of you is when you walk, when you're coming up to him like that, you put right here, front part of that forehead, and these two hands right here in his chest. Bam. Now after that, now I'm shocking, I'm locking, I'm getting off that block, working a release. I'm not just dropping my hands, because that's how you get held as well. You need to sink a rip, okay? Or you need to go work an arm over, but you have to work a block release. They're not going to just let you go on the NFL level. So when you watch that play and you're seeing him laterally here, stick his head back, it's like, okay, cool. You can hope for the flag, and it's a 50-50 call. They might call it, they might not. From my experiences, they don't typically call those. From my experiences, you have to be fighting like a son of a gun, or it has to be very egregious for them to call that. But that depends on your perception of Devin and what your expectations are. If your expectation is, well, hey, man, he read it because he was in coverage. He read it, third and long. I get it. Draw play. Hey, he was in the right position, kind of got held, and you're fine with that. Cool. That's fine. And that's why I'm just kind of like, if that's the approach, well, that's an option for you. If you want a guy that will recognize it, is going to fight it, but maybe not as athletic, okay, you go Robert Spillane. If you want the guy that he might not read it the right way, but he's going to run through this guy's face and blow this dude up, what are you going to Mark Robinson? But that's the difference of those three guys, just depending on what you're looking for with them. But you heard it yourself. You even caught yourself when you said it with Devin. He's like, oh, he wasn't that bad. It depends on how you're looking at it. It's like,
he wasn't.
Yeah.
I thought he made some plays.
No, he definitely and he did do some good stuff, without a doubt. I like the 4th and 1 stop that he had. Now, in the moment, I was like, yo, he made a crazy play. Going back and looking on the tape, I'm like, yo, Miles Jack made the crazy play. He was the beneficiary of it.
Yeah.
But either way, it's like, yo, he made a play. And that's what you want to see. But context, and that's the stuff we talk about with him and all these other players. It's like, no, we can support him, and you should. I support all these dudes. But the context is what we're talking about. And when we're seeing who's starting, backups, you got to split hairs. You got to look into all the little stuff like that. And that's the stuff that we're talking about. But like I said, if your approach is, hey, man, that's enough, well, then, hey, that's enough. You know, because it was definitely his best preseason game of this year to me. But once again, when you're asking, is that what the standard is for what you expected from him? That's, to me, is the difference, because I don't look at that as, oh, man, yeah, you're in the right place. Hey, man, you're doing enough.
Step in the right direction.
I'm like, it's a step in the right direction, 100%. But you also have to remember, last week, when we started talking Mark Robinson, remember I also said that I'm kind of past this 5-5. We're just going to keep waiting. It's like, I don't care about that. Like, I want to see more. Like, I don't want to grade it on a scale. And that's kind of what I felt like we were doing for too long from my perspective as it pertained to him. But it definitely was a step in the right direction for him yesterday, without a doubt.
Yeah, because I got to assume they're going to be going with this Devin Bush, Spillane rotation heading into the regular season. Probably Bush getting most of the work and then just seeing how he does throughout the game. Now, I don't know if they pulled Bush specifically because of that play. Because am I wrong? After that 3rd and 14,
they pulled him out.
They pulled him out,
and then they brought him back in like the next series, or it was either the next series or the series after that. But for a fact, they definitely pulled him out, and that was like one of the things. I'm like, I get the frustration of why you would yank him. I wasn't a fan of it in the moment, just because I know as a player, I've been on both sides of that. I've been the person that's gotten yanked. I've been the person that they sending you out there to go yank a guy, and it's like, it's that is kind of like too hypersensitive to these plays. You know what I mean? If you do it after the series, that's fine. In the series like that, and like I said, it could just be they were switching personnel groupings. We don't know that, but we definitely did not see him back out there on that series after that play. But yeah, you can still, man. Oh, it's just like I said, with him is very unique in terms of how you handle that. Like, do you dumb down what our expectations should be for him, or what our expectations were for him prior to seeing him in the preseason this year? Because our expectations were a lot higher for him prior to the preseason games. Now here we are after 3 preseason games, and it's like, what do we say is good for Devin versus what we see from others, where we're like, that's normal. That's what we expect from them. But with Devin, it's like, we don't talk about it the same right now. So
seems like he's got a good thing going with Miles Jack, though. I saw them in the locker room chatting it up, having a good time.
They were feeling good, man.
There's a video on YouTube. So I'm just wondering, man, maybe sometimes things take a little bit to get going. I mean, you're right, because a lot of this is just like, hey, I'm hoping this thing turns around. But, hey, dude, it's a step in the right direction right now. And we're going to be going with him week 1. Like, I don't really have much doubt about that, because as much as
I would agree.
Robinson would be a cool story and stuff.
The Spillane thing. Like, what we saw yesterday, that's what they're going to be their approach. Devin Bush and Miles in base, when they go into some of their dime or sub package ball, that's when you'll see Spillane getting out there. And he's out there a lot, but it's because of they trust him. He communicates. He is the beacon of communication in those sub packages. You look at him directing traffic, D-line, safeties, linebackers. That's Spillane. That's what he's doing. And you always know he's going to be in the right position. And once again, yesterday, consistently right position. Makes the plays he's supposed to make. Plays with great effort. So
could we just do a rotation of Spillane and Robinson?
I mean, you could. But once again, it's like, are you trying to go that route, or do you want to go with Devin Bush first? I think they're going to go Devin Bush first.
They definitely are.
Yeah. So it's like, when do you even get to the point of even seeing that? Or how bad does it have to be to see that? Because the only reason Spillane rotates in is because of Devin Bush allowing that to happen. Robert Spillane was never getting on that field until this door was open. And then it remained open for how many years now? And now here we are saying, hey, give him more time.
What's happened? Did we fall off this far?
Okay.
We're cool with the rotation.
But when I say this, when I say it, I'm a hater at times. When I'm like, hey,
What's
bro,
happened?
I don't agree with this. I think we're making a lot of excuses. It's like you're a hater. And I'm like, bro,
I still got a little bit of a belief in
So-
Devin Bush, dude. There's a little bit there.
Yeah.
There's a little bit there still. There's a little bit there.
I just go off of what I see, man. That's it, bro. Because, hey, I feel like it's like, I just don't know, man. I would love to have Devin be this guy consistently, but I just don't know if you could trust it to be like that. Spillane, you could trust it, but he's limited. And Mark, I think, is the best of both worlds, but he's very, very young. And it shows. It definitely shows. He'll have some plays where it's like, you got to clean that up a little bit. But you can still win with it. But that's a different beast of what you're going to be dealing with compared to the Devin Bush stuff. Like when we talk about Devin, we critique him on, can he get off a block? Is the effort always there? Is the desire always there? With Mark, you're not going to question those things, but you are early on. You're going to have to question sometimes, man, is this going to be too much on his plate mentally? Because you're going to be asking a lot of him, especially once the season gets here. It looked a little bit like that
yesterday, too.
Absolutely it did. And that's like, when I see that, I'm like, they didn't put all that on his plate just yet. When the regular season hits, man, Cincinnati, bro, it's going to be a way bigger playbook, checks, formation checks, boundary checks. Like, hey, man, we got this call, but me and you working a different way than everybody else working. Like, all of that happens once the season gets here. We don't show any of that in the preseason. So that's the part when I'm looking at Mark and I'm like, okay, when you put that on his plate, is that going to slow him down? Is that going to cause his head to spin? Because that Jaguars game, he had it was like a 3-play window where he was spinning a little bit. And I'm looking, I'm like, everything else has been fine, but 1, 2, and 3, I can see where you kind of got confused here. You dropped this coverage, you blitzed when you weren't supposed to, and now you're kind of in no man's land, just like, where am I at in the zone? But then you're able to pick it back up after that, but that shows. And if I'm seeing that, what do you think the coordinators for the Cincinnati Bengals are going to be doing? I watch tape, but listen, Deke, I'm retired. I got wife, kids. We do this podcast. I got radio show. You think I'm not watching tape all day like that? Them dudes, they looking for those type of things. And you know what they're saying? Okay, he messed up that call, he messed up that call, he messed up that call. Well, guess what? When they see him in that stadium, what you think they're coming back to?
Same exact formation.
That call. Or they go window dress it. It's going to end in that formation, but they're going to make it real, real pretty ahead of time. Like, yo, what is this? Man, motion here, shift here. What the heck? Ball snap. And when you're talking about regular season, when it actually matters, now that's when you can get got. That's when it can hurt you a little bit more. So like I said, it's a different, potential negative that you would deal with Mark because of the youth, not necessarily because of his ability. Whereas with Devin, the ability is there, but you're just like, man, are you actually going to be the productive player? And like I said, with Spillane, he's kind of like that middle dude of, he has this part, but he doesn't have that part.
Right.